but we're 2 weeks in. We gotta do 3 more weeks of this. I don't even know what we're gonna do.
I have probably watched a bunch of movies.
Oh, hi everybody. Sorry, didn't see you guys there. My name is Tim, and this is
Elayne.
And we are Mr. and
Mrs.
Movies. Thank you for joining our first ever YouTube channel video. We decided, since we're all stuck inside for the coronavirus right now, we might as well do something fun to pass the time, and we figured let's do something we both enjoy. And if you can see the wall behind us, you might recognize that we love movies. All kinds of movies, every genre, every age, every decade, animated, live action, you name it, we love it. So we thought it would be fun each week to come together and just share some of our favorites, do any specific genres or topics or top 10 lists, top 3 lists, whatever it might be. So feel free, if you have any suggestions for topics that we might do, feel free to drop those in the comments. But we thought as we kick it off here, we would share some of our experience with film. I've actually spent 4 years in Los Angeles working as an actor. That's actually where I met my lovely wife, Elayne. And how about you?
Well, I love movies. Grown up watching them. I have a music degree in LA, from Biola University, and I think that's what I really like about movies is the music. It brings it together. It like solves the scene. It just really brings it all together.
All right. So we thought tonight, kicking it off, we would share our top 3 films of all time. The suspense is killing me. So, Elayne, why don't you start with your number 3?
So my number 3 might be one you may not have heard of.
Ooh,
because
a deep cut.
It's it's one of those like focus on the family movies from a while ago. It's called Rigoletto, and it's a musical fantasy ringing of truth and filled with mystery and love. It has a little bit of like a Beauty and the Beast feel to it, mixed with some singing involved, which is probably why I like it, because the music is just absolutely wonderful. And it's fun to sing along too. And I have fond memories of actually watching this movie every time I would go and visit my grandparents, and I would drag all my cousins, who was younger than me, to watch it with me. And every time we'd come to Grandma's house, they'd be like, "Lainey, we're not gonna watch Rigoletto again, are we?" I was like, "Oh yes, we are." Because I was the oldest, so I told them what to do. But Rigoletto, number 3.
Number 3. All right. Mine, not quite as deep of a cut, a little bit more well-known, but possibly still unknown to most of you, would be a film called Quiz Show. This is a 1994 Robert Redford directed film, starring Ralph Fiennes. Most of you might know him as Lord Voldemort. Sorry for saying his name. He is the starring actor here. That's the back of his head, actually, but also Rob Morrow and John Turturro. And it's just a really fun morality tale. It's based on a game show scam from the 50s, so it's set in the 1950s, a little bit more of a throwback romantic feel. Really well written, kind of lets you put yourself in their shoes of like, in this situation, if I could take free money, would I? And what are the implications of that? Nominated for 4 Academy Awards, didn't win any, but it was also up against Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, and Forrest Gump. So it had some stiff competition that year, but highly recommend it. Check it out. It's available to rent right now on Amazon for $2.99. So highly, highly recommend.
My number 2 is Sabrina. Not the original, this is the remake with Harrison Ford, Julia Roman, and Greg Kinnear. Again, I think the reason why I love this is the music. The opening scene is Julia is speaking in this wonderful, gorgeous, soft voice with this beautiful orchestra in the background, just painting this beautiful picture of this estate in upstate New York, where this is set in. And it's just, the music throughout is so beautiful. Yeah, pretty much, if you haven't seen the remake, I highly recommend it. I mean, it's Harrison Ford. Who doesn't love Harrison Ford? and it's I think it's better than the original, but that's just my opinion.
All right, and my number 2, familiar to probably most of you, The Dark Knight, the second movie in Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. This is the film where Heath Ledger gives just a monumental performance as the Joker. Actually won a posthumous Oscar after passing away. And he brings the film from an already good crime drama, it kind of supersedes the superhero genre, and just elevates it to something unlike I'd ever seen. I think I saw it 9 times in theaters, probably a dozen more times since purchasing it, and it stood the test of time. Every time I watch it, I'm never bored, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So, highly recommend.
And my number 1 is Avatar, directed by James Cameron. Still waiting for number 2 to come out.
Sometime.
Yeah, well.
Maybe.
I hope so.
Not with this virus going on.
Well, shh. Anyways, I love this movie. I like what James Cameron did with the colors in this movie. I love how the 3D effect to it. I love also, again, the music. The scoring is so beautiful. I think that's James Horner that did the scoring. And another reason why I love this movie is because also my grandparents, the ones I would visit and watch Rigoletto, they gave me this particular DVD, and since they're passing, it's kind of like one of their last gifts to me, and so I hold on to it dear. But I just love this film. I know it's basically Pocahontas in space, but but it's I like the story. I know it's really long. I saw it like 8 or 9 times in theaters, and yes, I went and saw it when it was re-released with the extra 8 minutes of film. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's on Disney Plus, if you have Disney Plus.
It is a gorgeous movie, and if you haven't had the opportunity yet, even if you're not a fan of Avatar, when it reopens, go to Animal Kingdom in Florida and visit the world of Pandora.
It is beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous, especially at night. with all the bioluminescence. Mm-hmm. Very reminiscent of the movie, makes you feel like you're there. So
yes, very much so.
Wonderful. And my number 1, if you know me, you might already know this, but Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Ford.
So Harrison Ford popped up twice in our top 6. So he's done some good work for us. A lot of people would say Raiders of the Lost Ark would be their favorite. It's definitely up there, probably top 50, maybe top 20 for me. I haven't filled out my list that far, but Last Crusade definitely in the top 3. This is when he goes on a madcap adventure with his father, played by Sean Connery. The father-son dynamic is fantastic. It's just a perfect mix of action and comedy and tongue-in-cheek and thriller and a little bit of mystery, and it's just all the things that make me happy. So this is the quintessential, if I'm not feeling good, I'll pop this in and I feel good. If I'm feeling fine and I watch it, I feel even better. So thank you, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas and Harrison and Sean. Good work. So that's our list. Why don't you do a quick recap here? Your top 3?
Yes, my top 3 are 3, Rigoletto, 2, Sabrina, and 1, Avatar.
And I have Quiz Show, The Dark Knight, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So that's it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Feel free to like us or share a comment. Like I said, if you have any tips for any of our future episodes, but we will probably come up next week with something else, and we hope to see you then. Thanks.
Bye.